Trump news. Much anticipation surrounds Trump's choice for vice president. The competition to replace former President Trump as his running partner is heating up in MAGA land as he drops indications that a decision could be imminent. On Saturday, the last day of the Conservative Political Action Conference, PAC, attendees will cast a straw ballot to determine their preferred candidate for Trump's running mate. Representative Elise Stefanik, Republican New York, is one of several candidates who have addressed the conference. The vice presidential selection is more contentious than the GOP presidential nomination race because of the high expectations that Trump will easily defeat his opponent, Nikki Haley, in Saturday's South Carolina primary. In reference to Trump's old reality program, GOP strategist Ford O'Connell remarked, "It's going to be a real-life version of The Apprentice," while describing the sweepstakes. This week, Trump made it official that 3 of his former primary opponents are among the 6 prominent party members on his shortlist. While asked if they are still in the race, Trump called out Republican Senator Tim Scott of South Carolina, former Florida Governor Ron DeSantis, and businessman Vivek Ramaswamy, all of whom have retired from the campaign. On the same list as the former president are Representative Byron Donalds, Republican Florida, Governor Kristi Noem, Republican South Dakota, and Tulsi Gabbard, who was a former representative from Hawaii. Trump did not include Stefanik in the lineup confirmation, but her name has been popping up in sweepstakes talk at an increasing rate. Even though the choice of vice president by a nominee never swings the election in their favor, the Republican running mate for this year may be pivotal due to Trump's term limit. He can only spend another 4 years in office. Regardless of who it is, O'Connell predicted that they will be better prepared to run for Republican nomination in 2028. Remarkably, former Vice President Mike Pence, who was Trump's running mate but ultimately decided not to endorse him, campaigned against him in the 2024 primary. Reportedly, in response to the shortlist, DeSantis warned the former president against engaging in identity politics when making his selection. DeSantis had previously backed Trump after withdrawing from the campaign last month. According to GOP strategist Matthew Bartlett, "It seems as if this is something of an apprentice sideshow going on right now, and you're seeing additions through different rallies or through different media appearances." In defiance of Haley, who nominated Scott to the Senate in 2012 while she was governor of South Carolina, Scott has become a prominent Trump surrogate and rallied with Trump in South Carolina. Among Stefanik's recent actions as a prominent Republican in the House is her public appearances alongside Trump on campaign trails and her efforts to establish herself as a frontrunner in the sweepstakes. While speaking at PAC, she boasted about how she has stood in the breach for Trump and how she plans to transform her district into Trump and Elise country. Michael Bartels, a member of the New York Young Republican Club's board who was present at PAC, stated that Stefanik is his preferred candidate due to his track record of not abandoning the MAGA movement. Meanwhile, he assured everyone that she is still on a highly electable course and hasn't gone off the tracks. He went on to say that Trump might use Stefanik's support to win over women, who have been a stumbling obstacle for Republicans since Roe v. Wade's demise in 2022, would be more electable with a female candidate on the ticket, in my opinion. Is it to say that I believe a woman should have more say in the selection process? In a word, no, Bartels remarked. However, when viewed only from a strategic perspective, it does make sense. Even though Gabbard is now more conservative, she was a Democrat while she was in Congress. While discussing potential vice presidential candidates earlier this month, Trump praised Noem, saying that she had been incredible fighting for him, but he did not mention her name. In the midst of the sweepstakes talk on Friday, Noem praised her tenure as governor of South Dakota. At PAC, Floridian Sunny Driver remarked that Trump does have few solid options, but that Noem stands head and shoulders above the crowd. He claimed that Trump's firebrand personality would make her a more balanced addition to the ticket. He described her as very conservative, quiet, and unassuming. In my opinion, if Trump chose her, the suburban vote would likely tilt significantly in his favor. According to Republican strategist Jason Cable Rowe, Noem and Stefanik seem to have been aggressively campaigning for the vice presidential position, and it is interesting that DeSantis, who had previously stated his intention not to be the running mate, is now being considered among the candidates. You got to consider that this is someone that provides some political value to the ticket as well, Rowe said, adding that Trump is looking for someone who will be loyal to him and not try to overshadow him. Noem, Stefanik, or Gabbard are all women who may be on Trump's ticket and win over suburban women. However, Rowe noted that Scott, one of the most prominent black Republicans in the country, could help reach minority votes while speaking at CAC. Donalds, one of the few black Republicans in Congress, called the judge who fined Trump $355 million for fraud in his New York lawsuit dumb. Our vice presidential nominee, whoever he or she may be, will be able to round out the ticket. Donalds informed The Hill at the conference that President Trump will be the one to make the decision. If requested, he would gladly serve as the former president's running partner, he stated. The question I usually ask when people start throwing around names is, what can they offer to the ticket that Trump doesn't already have? Because that's what he's looking for, remarks Mark Lauder, who served as Trump's strategic communications director throughout his 2020 campaign. According to Lauder, you're looking for someone who can help the ticket, regardless of whether it's in terms of a certain state, policy area, or demographic reach. His term constraints are increasing the stakes for Trump's choice. Because of his term limit, his running mate will be the clear favorite in 2028 if Trump is re-elected, as he can only serve for a maximum of 4 more years. Usually, the choice of vice president doesn't really matter in the end, but this is so unusual. With Trump and Biden as possible nominees, the vice president will face more scrutiny and likely have a disproportionate impact on the election. According to Bartlett, Haley remains a significant obstacle for Trump in his pursuit of the GOP candidacy. On Super Tuesday in March, there will be over a dozen primaries and caucuses. Despite losing to Trump in important states, Haley has pledged to remain in the campaign until then. According to strategists, Haley is now hopelessly out of the running for vice president, let alone any role in a Trump government. As the race heats up, the exchange between the two has grown increasingly heated, with Haley criticizing Trump severely for his remarks about NATO and mental fitness for office. When I make a statement like that about Nikki, that means she will never be running for vice president, Trump said at a rally earlier this month, referring to a previous speech in which he compared Haley to former House Speaker Nancy Pelosi, Democrat California. Neither of us will be vying for the vice presidency with her. Running mate is not something Haley is interested in, as she has made clear. The whereabouts of the former president's head are uncertain, Bartlett remarked. Still, the selection of a vice president is likely to be the most consequential appointment we make in our lifetimes.